welcome back to Bible and Beats. Today we're going to be doing a Tugsiastquet, or a top Google searches is it a sin to question extravaganza time. Let's get into it. So just to explain this video, we're going to be doing 10 things, the top 10 Google searches, and we're going to spend like a minute and a half on each one, do a Bible verse from it, just explain the different theories, the different reasons, and that's just going to be the whole video. So, let's dive right in. Number 1, is it a sin to get a tattoo? This is interesting because of a verse in the Old Testament, Leviticus 19:28, which says, "Don't cut your flesh or put markings on yourself," because this is what the pagans used to do. Now, God's people, they want to be set aside from the pagans, so they weren't going to do these things. They weren't going to cut their flesh, they weren't going to put markings on themselves. That's why this whole verse, exists. And as Christians, or again as the Jews were, we both believe that we're God's people, and because we're God's people, we want to set ourselves aside, so we're probably not going to get tattoos. Some people might say, hey, this is a way for me to glorify God and thank my body for it, but again, most Christians would say, no, doesn't make sense. So, number 2, is it a sin to swear? Okay, we've got Exodus 20 verse 7, don't take the Lord's name in vain. So, that doesn't necessarily mean swearing, it means things like OMG, what the hell, oh my god, stuff like that, stuff that dishonours the Lord's name. But if you're looking for swear words like the F word, the S word, all of that lot, James 3:10 says, using your mouth to curse dishonours the Lord. Cursing is, saying those naughty words, those bad words, and so yeah, it's not good, and it would be a sin, you avoid it at all costs. But when the odd word slips out, God isn't going to send a lightning bolt and kill you, but it's probably best to just, apologise. But to be fair, everyone has that odd word that slips out. Number 3, is it a sin to drink alcohol? Now, this one is again debated between various different groups in the church. Some would say no, alcohol is wrong, because it can get you drunk, and drunkenness is a sin. Whereas other people, like for example me, we would say alcohol's okay to an extent. So in the Bible, it's very, very clear, don't get drunk. It says that multiple occasions. There are so many that I can't get into it right now because it would take up the rest of the video. So in short, you can't get drunk whatsoever. But you can have a drink, because nowhere in the Bible does it say don't drink. Like, Jesus turned water into wine. I mean, that's a pretty good basis. Also, the Pharisees called him out for being a drunkard, because he apparently had too much to drink. We all know that he didn't, because that's a sin and Jesus lived a sinless life. But we know he had maybe a little bit to drink. And for us, that's okay. Number 4, is it a sin to explore your body? This is, again, highly debated. It tends to mean solo sex, so masturbation and any other slang term you've heard for it, and all the things like that. Masturbation itself isn't a sin. There's nothing in the Bible that says don't jack off in your bedroom or don't go around masturbating. However, there is one thing in the Bible that we are told to fight against, and that is lust. So lust is when you look at someone and want to do ungodly things to them, or you want them to be yours. So this is where watching porn comes in. Pornography is a big problem, especially among males, and we're very clearly told that it's a sin because we're lusting after the people in the videos. We want to do things to them, and so no, you're not allowed to do that. So solo sex on its own, it's okay, there's nothing the Bible says against it. However, the second you start thinking about someone who isn't your wife or husband, then that's when it starts to become a sin, and that's when it starts to become wrong, and that's when you should stop. Again, there are a load of verses in the Bible which will say, don't, poison your mind with stuff like this. But one thing you should remember is a verse in Matthew, the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. This I cannot, bring more highly up. The spirit is willing but the flesh is weak has really helped me, because masturbation has been a big problem in my life especially. and I know that my flesh is weak, but as long as the spirit is continuously willing to know God and to be closer to God, in the end of things, it'll all work out fine, and we can overcome anything. Okay, so number 5 is an interesting one. Is it a sin to eat pork? Now, this was an Old Testament under Jewish law. As I'm going to read, some of the article on it. As modern cooks now know, pork is dangerous when uncooked and can cause a lot of death and disease. Plus, it was a dirty animal that splashes around in mud and eats its own feces. So for Jews, it was a way of staying clean from the dirtiness of the world. Yeah. To sum it up, pigs are filthy animals. They're really disgusting. Some would say they're smart because they know how to prevent against disease and stuff like that. But they're dirty. They cover themselves in mud and muck. So for Jews, it was a way of staying clean, staying holy, staying righteous. Christians, however, we have it differently. There is a verse in Acts 10:9-16 where Peter had a dream where he was told to eat pork. So yeah, it's okay. Okay, number 6. Is it a sin to smoke? Yes. Sorry. It is. So there are only ever 2 benefits from smoking, and those are debated. There's a slight possibility of it happening, and that is prevention against Alzheimer's and dementia. However, there are a ton of bad things that come from smoking. Poisoning your body, addiction, damaging, your body. And if you want to use Bible verses, your body is a temple of the Lord. Don't fall prone to addiction, stuff like that. Those things the Bible teaches very clearly against. And because of that, we are told, as Christians, don't do that. Don't poison your body. Don't hurt it this way. In the same way that overeating and gluttony and stuff like that is a sin, so is smoking. Is it a sin to think about sex? Ooh, this is going to take slightly longer to explain, so feel free to skip ahead if you want. Is it a sin to think about sex? Well, sex is a gift. It's a God-given gift. That's explained very clearly in Genesis 1 and 2. And apparently it's amazing. Wouldn't have any experience, would love to have some in the future. So, yeah, gifts are meant to be used, but only in the right environment. For example, if you were given a toaster, you wouldn't use it to throw a party. You need to use it in the right setting. Toasters are amazing for making toast, not so much for frying an egg. It's different. You use the gifts in the right settings, in the right environment. And it's the exact same with sex. Sex outside of marriage, casual sex, one-night stand, stuff like that, no. Just don't do it. It's not within marriage, it's not where sex is safe. Christians like to keep themselves from marriage because that's where we're told that sex is safe and good and God-given. So, people mention the don't lust verse, and yes, okay, thinking about sex with another person is wrong. It is, I'm sorry. The verse about lust, as we explained earlier on in the video, is horrible. And it's abomination in God's eyes. Yeah. So, you should probably stay away from thinking about sex with other people who aren't your wife/husband. When it is your wife/husband, it is perfectly fine. In fact, we're even encouraged to think about it, and we're encouraged to think about it and us doing it. Because we're told, go out and populate the earth. God literally tells us, hey, you lot, go have sex with the right people. He's not saying go have sex with anyone, with the right people. So, yeah. If you can think about it in a marriage setting, I guess it's okay. It's not my area of expertise. But yeah, just don't think about sex outside of marriage, because that will make you want to do it, and so it's not brilliant. Now, number 8 is a kind of confusing one. Is it a sin to celebrate Christmas? Just no. Seriously. It's Christmas. It literally means the day of the anointed Messiah. It literally means Jesus' day. Why wouldn't you celebrate it? Number 10. Is it a sin to lie? This one is brilliant. Because you have kind of 2 areas where you talk about lying. So the first one, it's just lying every day. lying to people about the stuff you've done, stuff like that, the things you've done, and using a lie to get out of it. It's a sin. It's horrible. In somewhere in either Exodus, Leviticus, or Deuteronomy, can't remember which, it says lying is an abomination in the eyes of the Lord. Yeah, don't do it then. However, there is a point where lying is, I wouldn't say okay, it's just not as bad almost, but this is, in a really, really specific case. And it's when you're helping those in the church, when you're helping spread God's word. My example for this is this dude called Brother Andrew. Now, he was a Dutch person with a whole load of back problems and leg problems and stuff like that. He was a smuggler though, but not the kind who lived on the 7 seas as a pirate. He was the one who smuggled Bibles into countries. North Korea, he did some in South Korea as well. He also did a load into Russia and stuff like that. And he had to lie about his cargo. He had to say, no, I'm not carrying any Bibles, because Bibles, were illegal. So, because he was doing it for God's mission, it's okay. He was doing it to further God, but what's important is, he prayed to God beforehand to say, God, please help me through. Tell me if what I'm going to do is a sin. He trusted God. God told him what to do, and he very, very successfully helped put Bibles in a whole load of countries. Right, so that was very quickly the top 10. I hope you like that. If you don't, well, let me know and tell me how I can improve. Special shout out today goes to this guy called Elijah in my group chat. He's an amazing, amazing guitarist, and yeah, just God bless you, man. So today is Friday. I'm gonna edit it and upload it tomorrow on Saturday. On Saturday though, we're gonna be doing a very special one, because on Sunday it's the 14th of February, and the 14th of February, as many of you know, is Valentine's Day. So we'll just be doing like a 5-minute thing on what is Valentine's Day to the church. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you and go do some homework. Right, thanks. Bye.